12, Giants Manigault. On the right, 3, Doug McDermott. We'll start with a statement from head coach Greg McDermott first.
You know, you go through a course of a season, and you always look back at a couple games where just about anything could have happened, and the outcome could have gone either way. And we haven't had a lot of those games. And, you know, we had a chance tonight to put St. John's away. To their credit, we weren't able to do that. We made uncharacteristic mistakes, and you know, that's a good message for us, I think, moving into this break, is that we can improve as a team. I think it goes without saying St. John's is a much improved basketball team. They're playing some of the best basketball of the season, and they pose some problems that other teams in this league don't pose because of their length and athletic ability to change shots and block shots. So I told the team, I'm proud that we won. Obviously, I didn't like our turnovers, but our execution, the last play was outstanding. Jawhands made a great pass. Ethan set a good ball screen. Z was on the other side setting that little screen for Doug, and they chose to go under it, and Doug made a great read. Z pinned him in, and Doug hit a big time shot. So this is a great win for us. Obviously, you hear me talking, and it's I'm not feeling the best. Doug's been under the weather. Jay's under the weather. Austin was sick at halftime. This break couldn't come at a better time for us, but that certainly doesn't take away from what I thought was a very well-played game by St. John's. They controlled the tempo, but our guys fought and hung in there on the backboards. It's just we turned it over so much it became a game.
Questions for the student athletes first.
Doug, you've had some great moments at Creighton. Is this maybe as good as it gets?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely at home. I thought this was the best feeling I've ever had. That St. Joe's one was pretty special too, but this definitely tops it. You know, against a great team like St. John's. The crowd was really into it tonight, and we couldn't thank them more. I really didn't even know. I mean, I just knew I had to shoot it because I was too open. So, you know, Jay did a great job of reading the screen, and Isaiah just with a heads-up play to screen that guy in, and I just let it fly.
Were you surprised he was that open?
Not really, because we practice this play so much that, you know, we look at every single option. If he wasn't going to be open initially, he was going to be open a little bit later off of that flare screen. So through repetition and through going through that, you know, last-second situation so much in practice and the other type of plays that we had for those situations, we know where the ball's supposed to go. So when he made that read, it was kind of like, you know, second nature for me, just pass him the ball, make him make the shot.
Was there any doubt that Doug was going to get the ball there?
I don't think so. You know, but like those two guys said already, it was just a great read by Doug, a great read by Z. I think the screen is what's going to be overlooked here, but Isaiah did a great read. He could have, you know, made the wrong read, and the guy would have been able to fight through it and challenge Doug. But just a simple read, a simple pin down, helped Doug get so open. And, you know, we know Doug, we know what he can do, 35 feet, whatever, how far it was. It's not an issue for him, and he made a big-time shot, and, you know, we couldn't be more happy to come up with a victory in this one.
It looked like Obetka got looked like his left hand came, I mean, was it in your field of vision when you took that shot?
Yeah, it was. You know, he made a good attempt at it. You know, I was open initially, but those guys are so long and athletic. They can make any play, any shot tough and make a challenge. So, you know, he was just a little too late. I think he was surprised about how far I was too. But, you know, he did make a good challenge at it. Just when the game's on the line, you know, it's my favorite time to step up, and I knew it was going in right from the get-go.
How does that compare to your St. John's game winner?
This one feels much better. Just in the Big East, you know, against such a good team, where, you know, we didn't play our best. You know, they did a great job of, you know, taking Ethan out of the game. And when they're going to do that, it's just going to open up the floor for me and some of our other shooters. So this one, I think this one feels much better than the St. Joe's.
What do you guys say to each other in that timeout when they come back to tie it from 18?
Just we were all calm. We didn't panic at all. We just kept a winning attitude. He said just put your winning faces on. Grant Gibbs did a great job of just stepping up in that huddle. It's just kind of taking control of us, and we have such a mature group where we weren't too worried at all. We knew we could rely on our defense to get a stop, and then we made a great play on the other end.
I have to talk about the turnovers. Obviously, the coach said kind of got them back into this game. What did you guys see out there? What was the most difficult part today?
I think their ball pressure just to a man. They're really good at getting in your shorts and trying to get you out of what you're trying to do offensively. And, I think tonight we just didn't do a good job of taking care of the ball, of putting our bodies in front of them to protect the basketball. I know personally I just let the ball just a little bit too loose with my handles. I got to make sure I work on that and be able to protect the ball against teams who are wanting to do that. And, I felt like when we didn't turn the ball over, we did a really good job offensively. We shot at a high clip, but it's when we turned that ball over that gave them runouts, that gave them layups in transition. And next thing you know, they're energized and, they're motivated to do that again. So, we just got to do a better job against teams who are willing to put that much ball pressure and just look what our second, third options are in our plays and execute a little bit better.
As that game unfolded, did you sense they were going to let Doug get his and try to make it difficult on the rest of you guys?
Yeah, a few times, yeah, especially, when we're attacking them in front of their bench. You could hear their coach saying, play them one-on-one, don't get off shooters and whatnot. So that's fine. That just kind of opens up driving lanes and post-up opportunities for Doug, and I thought Doug did a really good job tonight of, just weighing his options, playing patiently in the post, and attacking, going one-on-one against those guys. And if that's what they want to do, we have the best player in America. That's a great counter for that type of defense.
How different was it to see a defensive approach like that, to kind of dare you to beat them by scoring 39, as it turns out tonight? I mean, how different was that, and how do you welcome that challenge?
Yeah, it's definitely different. There's not a bunch of nights where it's like this, and I'm not going to have nights like this every night where I shoot 26 shots. Just the way they were guarding us tonight, they took away a lot of our shooters. It was hard to get them openings. So when they're playing me one-on-one in the post, these guys just told me to go at them one-on-one because I feel like that's a good matchup for me. So, every team's going to be different. So, next game, it could be much different. I could shoot 10 shots, and all these guys are going to be open from the three. So, we just got to continue to play together. We're all really unselfish, so we're going to continue to play together.
You guys have been through the entire conference now. You've played everyone. Is it the Big East what you thought it would be? What are you thinking of the conference?
It's what I thought it'd be. I knew we could get off to a start like this. We all did. It's definitely going to be a challenge this next run through because everyone's going to be coming at us. We're the new guys in the conference, so they're going to want another crack at us. So we got to take advantage of these 9 days off and just become a better team and be ready to go.
How do you see teams attacking you guys differently the second time around here?
I think we've just seen all types of defense. Like we said before, we see a night like tonight where they kind of take away the other guys and let Doug try and beat him one-on-one, and we've seen some nights where they collapse on Doug and try and dare everybody else to make shots. So, we've seen every type of defense. In that sense, it's really good for our team. We just got to learn from our victories as well as our one loss and understand that, we're not unbeatable. Every day we have to come out there with an approach that we're going to get better. We're going to get better defensively. We're going to be more crisp offensively and see how good of a team we really can be. And I think these 9 days come at a perfect time where we could just really work on ourselves for a little bit.
Thanks, guys.
Were you surprised that St. John's took that strategy defensively, just basically deny everybody and see what Doug could beat him?
Last week was Ethan Rogge week across the country. So, I would certainly think about doing the same thing, especially if you have the length and the athletic ability that Coach Lavin has with his team. Doug hit some tough shots tonight, some really challenged two-point shots. And as a defense, every coach, that's what you're after, to make him shoot two-point tough twos. And to Doug's credit, he made them, and when he got loose from the three-point line, he was able to knock those down.
Seems like first go through in the first half, you guys have won every way. You've won with Doug going big, you've won with other guys going big, you've won blowouts, you've won tough ones. I mean, do you think you guys have proven that you can win any way you need to?
Well, I think if you're going to have a chance to win a conference title, you have to win every kind of game because you're going to see everything. And you know, it's our goal to stay in the hunt. We know that's not going to be easy, but you know, I've got experienced guys. They understand how to play, and they're good at taking what the defense gives us. And you know, as Doug said, Doug's fine if he takes 10 shots. He's fine if he takes 25 shots. It just depends what the defense chooses to do. You know, I was pleased with our offense for the most part, except for the turnovers. We scored, I think, on 29 of 48 possessions when we didn't turn it over, which is a pretty good clip. But you know, if you would have told me they were going to beat us 18-0 in fast break points, 21-0 in points off turnovers, I wouldn't have guessed that we'd be talking about a victory.
In your eyes, rank his performance tonight.
I would say it's right there with Wichita last year. You know, we had some guys that didn't play their best games, a few guys that weren't feeling the best, and we needed a horse, and he was it. Very similar to the Wichita game last year.
What would it take for Doug to not take a shot there?
You know, there was multiple options on that play. You have to have something with multiple options in that situation, and you know, it's one of those plays you practice all the time, and you may go the whole season and not have to use it. But you know, as the guys said, it takes a good screen, it takes a good read, and then somebody's got to make the shot. So, you know, I'm proud of the guys that they were able to execute in that situation. No, not that you'll ever know.
That shot in practice, when you practice that last play of the game.
You know, we run last second stuff all the time, full court, 3/4 court, half court, under the basket, and different guys shoot it, and he makes a fair amount of them.
With the athletes St. John's has, how encouraging is it to win the rebounds?
Very encouraging. You know, it just the only negative is there were two. Obviously, our turnovers, and that's a result of their length and athletic ability, and some of it was a casual approach that we had offensively that you can't have against a team like St. John's. And then secondly, they you know, when they got behind 18, they just kind of forgot what they were doing offensively, and they put their head down and they went to the rim, and we had a hard time. If we stopped that, we had a hard time because our help was coming, cleaning up the weak side rebound. So, you know, obviously they did what they had to do to get back in the game. It was a heck of a basketball game if you didn't care who won.
If they could get things figured out, how dangerous could St. John's be?
I think you're seeing how dangerous they are. You know, they in the preparation, you watched them play Villanova in the Garden. It was, you know, St. John's led a good portion of that game, and Villanova's one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the country. So, I mean, this is a very talented and capable basketball team that they're getting better. I think I heard Coach Lavin in December saying this is going to be a good team in February. Well, they're a good team before February. It's not quite there yet, and they're playing really good basketball.
First time through, how do you feel about where you guys are at right now?
I mean, obviously, it goes without saying. I'd have never imagined this the first time through that we could be in this position. Because that obviously to be here, you got to figure out a way to win on the road, and this is hard league to win on the road. And we've found a way to do that. But there's a long ways to go. Anything can happen in this league. There's just so little difference from the teams that are on the bottom right now and the teams that are on the top. And I think I hope we just don't beat each other's brains in here these last 9 games because our league could probably use 4 or 5 teams to create some separation.
Any other questions for Coach?
Probably tough because you're his dad, but was that a National Player of the Year kind of performance tonight?
You know, we'll let somebody else decide that. You know, I don't spend much time thinking about that. I don't think Doug does either. I think he's just really he came back for a reason. He wanted to enjoy what he's got left with this group of guys. And obviously, you know, tonight's a night he'll never forget. You know, the celebration in the locker room, even though you didn't play your best as a team, you know, to see those guys rallying around Doug when he hits a big shot it's pretty cool, and those are memories. So, we'll see what happens at the end of the season. Obviously, he's had a good first 20 or 21 games. He's been remarkably consistent, and probably more so than any time in his career, he's been able to step up when his teams needed him the most. And so obviously I'm very proud of him, both as his coach and his father, and if he turns out to be player of the year, so be it. If not, that's okay too.
The statistics sheet obviously shows what it shows, but can you quantify, outside of statistics, how much better he is this year than even last year when he had such a great year?
I think the area that he's improved is, if you look at his assist numbers since we lost Grant, I think that's a telltale sign of Doug's maturity as a player, because we lost the guy that does the best job of getting other guys shots, and now when he's gone, part of Doug becomes that guy that's looking to get Ethan a shot, or looking to get Johannes a shot, or looking to dump it to Will or somebody dive into the basket. So he's made strides. There's no question. He's continued to improve. I think defensively there are strides that have been made. And, I know he's hungry for these 9 days. He wants to get better. I'll have to fight him a little to make sure we get some rest for the stretch run. But I couldn't be prouder of what he's done to this point.
How far away is Grant from return? Is he going to be able to do work?
Today was 3 weeks. And we said at the beginning 4 weeks, so I'm hopeful that by next Tuesday or Wednesday, he did a little light jogging today. I told him he looked like he was moving about the same speed as he did when he was playing. But he's determined to come back. And as I told the team in the locker room, the good news is sometimes an injury happens and bad things happen to your team. We found a way to essentially go, if you count the DePaul game, what is that, 6-1 without him? And Avery got better, Z got better, Devin got better because Grant got hurt. They're in a much better place now than they were that DePaul game in terms of being ready to help this team for the stretch run. So sometimes an injury can do some things to a team that's good as well. So we've got 3 better players on the bench now than we had when Grant got hurt. That have really contributed to our success in a number of ways. Thank you.